Hello and welcome to episode 11 of my Better Minecraft series. I'm currently standing in my vegetable garden because it's a bit of a safe space and this episode hasn't gone very well. Basically, I started out with a journey to go fetch sand because I needed lots of glass. That turned into about an hour and a half of staring at the void and waiting for ground to load. I eventually got all the sand I needed and then needed to start crafting bookshelves, which brings me to my cow pen over here. So second problem came with me trying to breed a lot of cows, which anyone who's tried to get a significant amount of bookshelves through this method would know it takes forever. And unfortunately for me, I do not load this area in while I'm working up there. So I ended up doing a few AFK, well I say AFK, just running between every 15 minutes or so, waiting for cows to grow up and then breeding them, and just the cycle repeats. So I had stopped recording and unfortunately completely forgot to press start again when I also started doing some of the building. Now I do have some of the building recorded. I got one of the classrooms done, which for the most part they are kind of repeated. There is one exception, which I believe I actually also have some footage for. So I'm going to start off with those two rooms, and then we'll take it from there. I'll do a little bit of a walk around, explain kind of what's happened. And then we have to do, this is so loud. I'm choosing the worst places to stand. And I moved to the pig pen. Okay, now that I've found a quiet spot, after I've shown those two rooms off and then kind of walked around a bit, we're going to be building the villager breeder area, which will be hidden kind of in the dorm section. That shouldn't take too long to build, and then from there we will be moving on to the gardening, which again should not take too long. I'm not going to have these crazy custom trees up there just yet. I will add some later down the line, but for the most part, apart from the pathways and some little feature things, this is mostly going to be growable, which is quite nice. So let's get going. We started out by putting a chestnut and oak bookshelf wall in the back of the classrooms. The next thing to do is the deep slate ceiling. It's a little hard to reach. This is basically as far as I can reach, so thankfully I don't have to do too much jumping. Though I do have to fill it all in with slabs. Having the layer above really helps out. I then put some spruce trap doors along the walls, just to add like a little bit of a, I don't know if you wouldn't call it skirting, but yeah, just to add a little bit of difference and texture. And finally, for the internals, we start out with a teacher's desk, which is pretty simple to make. It's just two of the Better Minecraft desks and some trapdoors. And this actually fits pretty well on top. I like it. The student desks go pretty close together. I don't get too much room, but hey, that's kind of what classrooms are like anyway. These chairs go in as well. These are slightly annoying because if I break these, I do not get them back. So I ended up making a lot of them. And yeah, that's basically it. Just got to put the chalkboard up and the doors. And we have ourselves a finished classroom. I've added benches out here as well. I think it looks quite nice, along with this trapdoor lining all the way around the side. I've got a nice staircase over here with some artwork with like a little corner. As I mentioned, the classrooms are all basically the exact same layout and design, which is quite nice, with the exception of one, which will go upstairs quickly. I like this stairwell. I might try and change something with the ceiling, but for now I think it's okay. This classroom up here is the one exception. I've turned into a bit of a science class, I guess, with like, I guess electricity, time, and like gravity or the natural laws, or I have no idea. And just some like little workstations. The back wall is obviously shifted to the side. A nice little view. Apart from this, the others are all basically the same. I have, however, blocked this off. So this is essentially doors closed, we're not going in here. This build, I've changed my mind. I was gonna do like a cool decorative inside, but I'm thinking of turning this into a storage section for building up the surrounding area. It's a nice elevated location. It's very easy to fly up here. And I think this will be a nice storage spot. There's a lot of room inside as well. So I can fit a lot in here. The tower as well, I really wanted to get going. But this I'm going to delay, as similarly to the hall, it was going to be mostly decorative with some enchanted book storage, but I figured why not actually just move the enchanting section to this tower, because as I said, it is fairly central, and with all my storage being over here, it'll work out. This won't obviously be my base, so to say. My house is still at the bottom, but I think spreading stuff around while keeping it in the same area is going to make things a little bit interesting. Moving in here, we have a storage room behind the stairs. There's not really anything in here. I don't think these shelves really work, but the chests and all the cupboards and cabinets work well. Moving on again. As I said, the classrooms, apart from that top one, are all identical on the inside. Apart from the ones over there, which are flipped. So the board is on this wall, and it's also kind of on that wall, but they're flipped the other way around because it's weird. Anyway, moving through towards the little dormitory courtyard. These have full internals as well. I actually really like how these came out with a little painting. It's all green and blue kind of theming. Keeping it in with the ceiling as well. Not the ceiling, keeping it in with the roof as well. I like these little beds. Hello, sir. You can't come through here. You gotta go around. Yeah, anyway. Everyone gets their own little personal drawer. And then shared trunks, I guess. And then over here, these are little cupboards. Nothing in there really, but you can fit a person in there. Oh, I completely forgot about these. So over here we have some bathrooms. I quite like how they turned out. They have full toilets as well with little mangrove trapdoors. I really like how these look with the quartz corner trim. But yeah, so this is kind of a bathroom slash change room area. There are two of them, one on each side of this hall. Flipped, obviously. Whoops, that was unintentional. And then at the back here, this is where we're going to get some function. So I've got this tiny little square room with no ceiling. And this is going to turn into a little shower room for the dorm area. However, we're going to jam a villager breeder into the ceiling of it. This is probably the best place for it, as it's a small enough room. It's completely out of the way. I was wanting to use the end of one of the classrooms and have them kind of like spit out either into a dorm room or through some hidden section on the side. But I figured out that the roof is tall enough that I can fit one in to the section, and they should not spawn on the sides. That is a very important thing to this being able to function. So I'm going to get started on this little room, and then we'll get to gardening. Now I am putting showers in here, as I mentioned. So we're going to try have some drainage. So we put those in there, and then immediately, as I mentioned, I will need the spruce to add to the top of those. Oh, another thing which is really frustrating, I mentioned a lot of problems happening. My backpack has once again decided that it's going to delete half of its space, and unfortunately this time I was not sure where I spawned in. I was running around for about 2 minutes before I even realized, so there was some panic there. Thankfully, I did find my items. These ones specifically were having me worried, but they're there, and I am super happy. Okay, and now we place the drains in, nice and waxed so they won't get rusty. I have these shelves, which will go on these center points. Do need to break and delete these blocks because I cannot place the curtains without them. And I do want these to face away from the door because nobody wants to be staring directly at the door. There we go. Now, those are my showers almost finished. I need to put the shower heads in. Now these are quote-unquote functional showers. I like them. You can go in, shut the curtain. It's not the best in terms of privacy, but it is doable. Cool. And then I actually did need more benches, so that's good to know. Or did I? I don't think I did. I think that's just a silly looking picture. That actually was there. Oh, that actually was meant to be like that. Cool. And then we grab our tripwires, and we're good to go, I believe. Now we need to install the ceiling and get some villagers up there. I promise they have more room in the ceiling than down here. I need to hang lanterns off of this. So they have to be bottom slabs. And then that is our center point, I believe. Yeah, so that's where the villager breeder will be set up. And they will just drop down and get to wander around. Not too far though, we're going to add a front gate. Get some lanterns. One on that side, one on that side, and now everything is well lit for you when you are in your shower. Something else I don't know if you've noticed, but I have turned off the view bobbing, so it's quite smoother walking around. Much better with shields as well. I have also turned my field of view up to I think 80, so it's slightly higher than the normal one. But I'm actually kind of liking it. I've also just realized that the one easy entrance to the roof has just been blocked off, so we're gonna have to dig in from the next room over. Let's leave one so we know where to go. And here we go. See, there's a lot of room up here. I think I can just place these directly on the floor. Okay, that's there. We have this. It's not in that one, is it? It is that one. Okay, so we have that there, we have that there. Our trapdoors, I think I place from the outside. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 4. Those, I think they have to go that way. I'm not entirely sure if I'm being honest. And then I cover that up with carpets. And this should be a finished villager breeder. I just want to make this thick enough so that they shouldn't spawn on the outer edge here. It's not necessary. I've tested this in creative and they do not spawn anywhere other than this exact spot. But just to be careful, we're going to fill in the surrounding areas. Okay, that is the villager breeder setup. Obviously, I still need to put villagers in there. But it is time to start working on this garden area. I'm putting up a deep slate wall to mark the entrance to the garden that I'll be making. I need to expand the land up here. The area is way too small for what I want to build. After that, I'll dig out this center pond area, surrounding it with a grass path. This will eventually be coarse dirt, but for now this works fine. This is going to be the main feature of the garden. I'm also roughly planning a seating spot, and then I'll dig out a small pond before returning to the center to plant the red oak tree. These trees look quite nice. After that, I plant some spruce trees, taking a while to get them into the spots that I want them in. I'll do this on both sides of the area before running wild with some bone meal. The aim for this garden is to be a more natural, overgrown area to relax in. I then finish the center pond with smooth stone blocks and place down some benches and add lanterns before spreading spruce leaves around the area, and then moving on to retexture the pond with more cobblestone related blocks, and then I finally add some water. And then the outer wall finally goes up and we can move on to growing some larger trees that'll go around the academy. For these I'm using ebony and Sika trees. Sika, I'm not too sure how it's pronounced. as they are fairly large and look okay for bone meal trees. I still want to come back up here and make some custom spruce trees like the ones I have below, but those take quite a while to make, so I'll come back another time once the mountain has been properly terraformed. I do like these trees though, so I might use them in other areas to fill in some blank spaces. They're pretty good scale for the buildings, and I'll probably try use a few of these around the village once I get started on that. This is, however, going to be the end of this episode. There are obviously a few more things to do. I need to get the front gate set up here, and this entire front garden area is going to be cut quite neatly. I also got to get rid of this chestnut, so that has been growing and growing and growing and getting progressively worse. But yeah, I think so far this looks really nice. Next episode, I'm going to be doing a lot of kind of in-between stuff. We'll try to get the front side of this mountain back here finished, among some other tasks I have to do around the bottom here. I think it's been somewhat productive. As I mentioned though, this front mountain definitely needs work. I cannot leave that like that. It is currently like 8:15 at night on Friday, so I need to actually get this out now. But yeah, next episode there's going to be a lot happening, so that could potentially be quite a long video because I've got to finish things up there. I'd like to try get some of the mountain done, and I've got some odd jobs to do around the farm and the two buildings over there. So with that all said, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Bye!